Hello and welcome to my channel. I am Zodiac Bandit, and today we're going to be recapping episode 53 of Critical Role Campaign 3. Very excited. It was a good episode. I really enjoyed it personally. We got to learn a bunch about the city of Uthodurn itself, so let's get into it. We start with, surprisingly, the group in Wildmount. I figured we'd switch back and forth between the two groups, but I guess not. Deanna stays up during the night to make sure that Chutney gets back safe. Chutney comes back after a long night with blood on his face. Chutney remembers he fought something and feels really guilty about it. He's face to face with Deanna at the entrance of the cave. She asks if he's okay. He is sorry for running out and tried to explain his lycanthropy to her. Deanna asks what he remembers. Not much. She asks if everyone here is okay. He sees Frida's coat is torn apart and gets upset by it. Deanna says they went after him. She tells him that Frida is okay. Chutney feels bad still. Deanna looks to see if Chutney is hurt himself and chooses to heal him with healing word just in case. Chutney tells Deanna he likes his werewolf form. He feels younger and stronger. She says that's great and that she thinks it'll feel good for him to go back to Uthodurn feeling this way. He doesn't think that it'll be a great thing going back to Uthodurn. He asks if Frida is a part of the glass blades because he's wearing green or because they are wearing green. Deanna says no, they aren't. Chutney asks if Frida has a freak out mode like FCG does. Diana says no. Diana says they are dangerous people to be around, it seems. Chutney then gives a short rest. The rest of the group wakes up. They ask how Chutney is doing. He says he's fine. Imogen says in Chutney's head that they sought out the Gorgine to potentially stop this sort of thing from happening. Why didn't it help? He says he thought it would help too. He must not have full control over it. He then looks at the sky and sees the solstice still going off and realizes that magic is weird during this time, and that is the likely cause of what happened. Chutney asks Frida how they're doing. Frida says they're good, and the fight was fun. They felt alive. Frida saw bits of Chutney within the wolf. Chutney asks if Frida was afraid. Frida says yes, but that's a part of life. They are more fearful for losing Chutney. Chet asks if they are a hunter. Frida says they were some kind of ranger before, and traveling feels right, so maybe they were. Frida feels like they've healed completely from their injuries from the fight. There are still marks left around on them. Chutney looks at some of the wounds on Frida. Chutney doesn't understand their body, so he doesn't really know if they're that big of a deal or not. Frida thinks the reason they made it out of the fight alive was their lack of blood. Frida asks Imogen what her friends' names were that they were talking or trying to reach out to yesterday. Frida suggests going to the Vellum Steeple. There may be someone there who can communicate with them. Imogen hopes their friends are still around to communicate with. FGG asks if Uthodurn is safe for other Aoritons. Frida says they've never been bothered. Imogen asks what the Vellum Steeple is. It's like a church of knowledge. Fern messes with Chutney by saying that he bit her last night during some of the fighting, but she quickly drops the act. Imogen says they don't know if Chutney attacked anyone else last night, other travelers that is. He says it's possible, it's happened before. FGG thinks they need to get this under control. Chutney says he lost track of the moon after being teleported and an ex caught him off guard. It won't happen again. Deanna is freaked out by the idea of biting someone as a werewolf, transferring the curse over to them, and then looks over to Frida. She rolls a 12 and sees scratch marks on Frida, and there are some puncture wounds. She puts the death ward on Frida. Frida says it's good to have the death ward back after it was given to Chutney yesterday. They missed the feeling that it gave them. Deanna says that she'll never give it to someone else again. Frida says it's okay. It excited them a little bit. The party begin to travel to Uthodurn. They reach the mountain base where the city entrance is. They made it just in time to miss nightfall and a blizzard that seems to be coming in. They see metal-capped entrances with stables near with horses and goats. Goats are the best part of Uthodurn. Fern goes up and pets one of the goats. Someone yells at her. It's a dwarf woman that is extremely pale with a crossbow pointed at her. Fern says she's just petting it and she's part goat, so it's okay. This convinces the woman that it is okay. Deanna tries to cut some fur off. She rolls a 7, but still succeeds because Fern is mega distracting. A glass blade approaches the party. He's an elf. He looks over the party, weapons at the ready. They ask what the party are coming to Uthodurn for. Frida says they're returning from a journey and the party are here to trade. The Glassblades say they are under Frida and Diana's care then. Fern asks if they need to hide Chutney. He says he's not sure. He did stab someone in the knee and in the hand. They ask who it was. He says it doesn't matter as long as they stay off the deliberation disc. Frida offers to hide Chutney under their coat. Chutney says yes, and he crawls in. And on Frida's shoulder seems to be handles that he's able to grab onto. Chutney puts his ear to Frida's back and hears a humming sound come from them. They head inside and go down the stairway. They smell all sorts of woods as if they are burning. They step out of the staircase and come into a neighborhood on the Volition disc, the top disc of the city. The whole city is built underground in a slow descending screw. It's called the Auger Trail. They see a bunch of dwarves and elves. The construction is much the same. Dwarven construction mixed with a bit of elven architecture and vice versa. There's a bunch of artificial globes that create sunlight down here. Deanna says they can stay at her place. It's a bit small for most people, so it'll be a little tight. FCG asks what she does for a living. She trades her knittings to other people. There's a lot of trade in this city. As they walk, they see some of the globes that make light are out. Normally they get fixed really quick if they go out. Frida informs Chutney of this, who also thinks it's weird. Deanna tries to get some sense of what's going on. She feels that others are a little spooked in the area. FCG casts Detect Thoughts. They hear frustration of the lights being dim. They also hear that the temples are all closed. Chutney asks if there's a larger Glassblade presence around than normal. As they travel, Fern and FCG get a bunch of attention. The party all feel like something is off. There are a lot more Glassblades than usual. That's what Chutney notices. Chutney feels they are out and about to comfort people as opposed to be looking for someone. So Chutney climbs out from under the coat of Frida and walks with the group. Frida keeps an eye out on FCG just in case. Imogen says they've been fighting for so long and now they've just been traveling. They don't know what's going on anymore. Frida asks where they want to go. They say they want to reach out to their friends to learn what's going on. Imogen says the world could be ending and magic could go away, and then freaks out about the fact that Laudna might be gone because she's around here because of magic. Fern hugs her. FCG says she's really wrapped up in this because her mother might be on the bad side. Imogen asks about Deanna's connection to the Dawnfather. Deanna waves around her light cantrip and says it's still here, calming Imogen quite a bit. The party head toward the Vellum Steeple. They get to the deliberation disc without issues. Frida asks about the Glassblades here. They are also on edge. Frida asks if Chutney can smell fear. He can. Chutney smells around, but instead of smelling fear, he smells more so anxiety. More lights here are out and businesses are closed. The temple to the Allhammer is closed, which never happens. Chutney says he wants to give a wide berth from Altker's chest. They do pass by it, and it seems to have been expanded a bit. It now has a second floor. FCG says they should go inside and say hi. Chutney says no, he stabbed the owner. Chutney says he had a good thing. Kids liked their wooden toys. But a new guy came in and said they should make stuff out of metal. Chutney did not handle this well. FCG says that if they had a relationship before, maybe they should try to repair it. Imogen says times change. This makes Chutney a little mad. FCG suggests going inside to see what it's like, but only after they go to the steeple. They continue past the marketplace of the district. They eventually reach the Vellum Steeple. It is a blue marble tower. The windows are out, or the windows are not well lit, but the door is in fact open. They step inside, and there is low lantern light. Only one globe light is on, and the rest are actual lantern light. They can smell lantern oil burning. No one is there to greet them inside. Deanna starts yelling for service like a Karen yelling for the manager. A gnome comes out to help. He asks what they need. Deanna says they have some questions. Imogen casts Detect Thoughts on him. He says in his mind that this is a bad time. Frida asks what happened here. He says what's happened everywhere, and then he asks who they are. Chutney says they are scholars. Fern says she is Professor Calloway. He says, well, you're not a professor from around here. Imogen asks if they can communicate with others from long range. He says he'll talk to someone, just close the front door. He doesn't want anyone else coming in. In his head, Imogen hears they don't have time for this again. Fern closes the front door. They're in a lobby area. Chutney says that this is a place of knowledge and they can pay for stuff that they need. Frida suggests Chutney sneak into the back. Chutney turns invisible. FGG casts Enhance ability on Chutney. Imogen connects with Chutney's mind so they can communicate. Chutney sneaks into the back without a problem. Sneaky little bastard. He sees, as he steps through the door, a massive library that is down a set of stairs. It is busy back here. He sees people moving about, pulling books off the shelves and reading them. He sees the guy that he talked to walk over to a elf woman who then starts going up to speak to the others. Chutney moves to the back of the room listening to the others down in the library. The elf woman goes to the others in the lobby and they ask who they are and what they want. FGG says some of them are from the Bell's Hells. That doesn't really mean anything around here. Imogen says there's been a lot of changes they probably noticed and that she's lost the ability to communicate with others that they normally would be able to at a long range. She says that the same has happened to her. She says it is unclear if it's far spread or if it's just in Uthodurn. The party tell them it is more far spread than they believe. They were in Marquette, then they were teleported here, and they saw the beginnings of all this. The woman says there's been a widespread loss of divination magic, and a handful of other spells are down as well. Deanna says that they need more specifics. Long-standing enchantments are gone, including teleportation circles and other smaller enchantments like the lights. Divination of all sorts are also going down. She is the Scribe Warden Vivusek. That name is going to piss me off. Frida asks if they have the best minds on this. She says yes, but Frida says the best minds are the Hells. Imogen says maybe they can't reveal everything right now. Vivusek, whatever, asks the party to give their information or leave. FGG and Imogen give her the rundown about the Ruby Vanguard and Ludinus's plans. She says they heard that some people were planning some wrongdoings during the Apogee solstice. They're trying to see what happened, but they're limited by land travel right now. They ask if there's other ways of travel outside of divination. There are druids. They ask Fern if she can teleport, but she doesn't know. Uthodurn doesn't have druids at its disposal. Imogen tells Vivusek about Keyleth's possible death, and the black cloak figure also have fallen, or may have fallen. Deanna gets mad at Vivusek for being a bit insensitive about having a hard time trying to follow exactly what the party is telling her. FCG calms her down. Imogen asks what they can get for this information. They can be paid for it. Imogen asks for a trade of information on Ludinus Deleth. Vivusek says that can be arranged. Deanna asks how the people are doing. The glass blades have done a good job, but some magically bound prisoners have escaped. This clicks with the players that this means other magical locks might have been opened. At this point, the party feels a rumble off outside. This causes Vivusek to go back into the library. Imogen says that she's coming back in Chutney's head and to listen in on whatever conversation she has. Chutney overhears the frustration in the library that they're trying to figure out what's happening. He overhears that temples are being closed and the high clerics are on edge, and he hears people trying to locate holy items that have been missing for a couple years. It's a bunch of fear reading, which sounds very much like when I forget to read a module the day before I'm DMing a game, but very fun, very relatable. Nothing seems to stand out to Chutney, though. He does overhear that the king and queen seem to be pressuring the steeple quite a bit. Then the rumble happens, and some books fall off the shelves, and some dust is kicked up. Everyone stops for a second and then gets back to work. Chutney looks for an important office. He sees a double door that leads to a well-kept chamber. He goes to the door and goes inside. It's a small office or research chamber. He looks on the desk. He sees maps of the city and the mines and some scrolls about mass dispelling events. It seems to be stuff focused mainly on the city. The door opens and the scribe woman, or the scribe warden, and two others walk in. She tells them to look into lewdness and they leave. Chutney stays behind. Chutney watches the warden pull out a vial of what seems to be some sort of alcohol and drinks it. At this point, Imogen's words come into Chutney's head. She says to get out of there. Chet tries to leave and he whispers lewdness, freaking out the scribe warden. He is able to avoid her as she bursts through the door and looks around. Chutney is able to get out of there. Chutney informs the group that the king and queen are pressuring the steeple. Deanna wants to look at what the rumble was. Imogen asks if there's something under the city. There's more city, the Grand District, and the mines. They leave the steeple and head toward whatever the loud rumble was. They can hear a few people muttering and people come out of their homes. They start to go down the disc toward the Grand Disc. Frida says that finding their friends is more important than saving the world right now. They suggest using their arcane core to charge their arcane magic so they can contact their friends. So they should go to Jacopi once they're done dealing with whatever they're going to right now. Imogen is grateful for the idea, but is also very hesitant by it. They continue down the city. They see a mass of glass blades and royal guards sweating, standing in front of the sealed metal gate that goes down into the Grand District, or Grand Disc. They're holding people back from the gate. Some of the guards are wounded, and they keep people away from the gate. Small tunnels are open next to the gate, which allow nobles and other guards to come through. FGG moves up and sees that the guards are guarding a group of council members and the king and queen who are spooked. There's another rumble at the door, which bumps the door a little bit. Imogen asks what's going on to one of the guards. They say that something attacked from within. They try to read his mind, but Imogen hears worries for friends, and FCG tries to push deeper but can't. Frida gets a vantage point for sniping, just in case something bursts through the door. Chutney can't smell anything but fear. The door gets hit from the other side again, which makes another rumble. FGG says that they're going in and says they have to go in. Fern asks what they are fighting. The guard doesn't know. He wasn't in there. FGG pushes toward the open tunnel door. Frida hides and shoots their gun into the air and yells, "Run!" The crowd begin to scream and run. The guards are looking for where the loud shot came from. FGG continues toward the door. Chutney follows after. FGG gets to the door as two people are arguing about closing it. FGG says they need to go in. The queen's lady in waiting is in there, and they need to get to them. FGG casts fast friends on them. This allows them to get through. The rest of the party catch up, and FGG gets them through as well. The door closes. Frida is the only one not in there. Frida sees a gap at the top of the gate. Frida chooses that they're going to try to climb the chains of the gate to try to get up top. Frida begins running up the chains, but slips on some of the rest that's on the chain and catches themselves, and then hangs on it for a little bit. Frida pulls himself up and then tries again and rolls poorly yet again, this time falling completely off the chain, falling 40 feet, taking 14 points of damage. The glass blades rush over to them and ask if they're okay. The glass blades tell them to go. They say yes and start to leave. Imogen bangs on the door to help Frida get in. It opens and a new guard is there. He tells Imogen to get out. She says no, and she's trying to get another friend to come in. He says no and grabs onto her and tries to pull her out. Frida rushes past the glass blades, slams into the guard trying to pull Imogen out, pushing Imogen and themselves back into the tunnel, and the door closes behind them. The party now see the pathway to the Grand Disc. It would be beautiful if it wasn't filled with the bodies of dead guards. The party asks FGG what they were doing. FGG says that they don't have their gods and they need to act on their own. Imogen says they're locked in here with whatever this creature is now. Fern says that they aren't locked in there with it. It's locked in there with them. They see someone with their back up against the gate in pain. FCG and Deanna both spare the dying on her. Deanna then heals her. Frida asks what it was that did this. The guard says it was a statue. The others turn around. It's super dark and quiet in here. Imogen sends her lights out. This helps see the bend in the path leading to the Grand Disc. The statue is the one they keep in the Grand Citadel. They were able to get the king and queen out. As the lights reach the bend, they see a quadruped creature moving back down toward the Citadel. Fern asks what it is. The guard isn't sure. They think it was one of the great beasts. Frida says it doesn't know they're here. They can sneak up on it. None of the party know what the great beasts of Uthodurn is, or are. FCG binds everyone but Deanna. Imogen asks if they are following it. FCG says they have to. The timing is weird, with all the magic going haywire for something like this to just suddenly spring to life. Chutney says they can get in close to the king and queen if they help. Imogen says they're dealing with something that the guards couldn't take out. FCG says that they have the power of friendship. Fern doesn't think that'll help. They start to stealth their way down. They roll okay. 3 of them roll above 20. 3 of them roll below. They start to move toward the creature stealthily. They hear the sounds of it moving, and then it slams into something and growls. Frida moves ahead to find it. They look to see if there's any rocks above it that they can use to fall on top of it. They look up to the ceiling. It's more polished than other ceilings on other floors. The party move around the bend and see the cathedral. It opens up into a large room. The cathedral itself is made from a stalactite from the ceiling. Stalactite. Don't know which is which. They can also see the beast. It's in the center of the walkway. They see in the buildings that there are still people moving around that they couldn't get out before. The party see a massive bull. It's about 8 to 9 feet tall, and parts of its body look ethereal. Imogen turns invisible. Frida sees its attacking shapes that it sees. It's not really hunting for anything. It's more confused. Imogen tries to see where it was once a statue. She sees a bunch of broken pillars around the citadel that have been broken outward, meaning that it came from inside. They watch it turn around and look at them. Frida tells FCG that there are still people in the buildings here. Frida says they should push it back into the citadel to lower the casualties. Imogen wants to read the statue's base for info. The bull walks down these steps into the citadel. Chutney asks what they're trying to do here. Help people out or kill the bull. The bull is now completely in the citadel and we have lost visual on it. Chutney and Frida start to tell people to get out. They make rolls for fleeing people to be stealthy. They got about 20 people to the gate, but the party realize that helping them isn't a great idea because they start banging on the gate. Chutney tells them to stay quiet. Killing the bull might be the only option now. Deanna casts Guardian of Faith to guard the people. Imogen stealths her way into the citadel alone. As she moves into the citadel, she sees the beauty of the citadel along with the destruction caused by the bull. She finds herself in front of many different paths and doesn't know where the bull is. She listens for it moving. It sounds like it went up the central staircase. She follows up that way. She sees a set of double stairs blown open, which leads to the throne chamber. 2 pillars are smashed and stones are all over the place in there. The bull is circling a pedestal. Imogen is telling FCG all about this as they made a mental connection before she left. Imogen casts Detect Thoughts to read the bull's mind. Imogen just feels emotions from it as it's not humanoid and it's hard to tell what it is thinking based on its form, or what it is based on its form. She feels anger, frustration, confusion, fear, and longing. It's almost lost, sad, and furious. Its eyes move toward her, and then it sits down on the pedestal. Imogen looks for the plaque. There is a plaque, but it's in Elvish, so she can't read it. Imogen tells FCG it's lost and isn't sure why it's here. FCG asks if she tried to comment. Imogen doesn't think that'll work. FCG thinks they can use friendship to help it. The rest of the party start to move in. Imogen watches it while the party sneak in. Fern leans onto the doorway and a piece of the door falls, waking the beast. Imogen sneaks off to the side. FCG casts tongues. Fern activates her breastplate, and spikes made from frost appear around her. Frida takes a post behind a column. As they all move into the throne room, they can hear Fern's hooves, then the growl of the beast. It's now time to fight. Initiative rolls. Fern rolls a 19, FCG an 18, Imogen a 14, Frida 11, Chutney 11, and Deanna 2. This makes the bull first. It charges Fern and hits, dealing 42 points of damage. That thing hits like a motherfucking truck. No wonder it cut through the guards. She is sent flying and is knocked prone. However, Fern's armor goes off and hits the bull, dealing 10 damage back. It then goes to kick toward Deanna, but it misses. Fern is now up. She gets up and moves, but doesn't get very far. She then casts Dominate's Beast on it. It rolls a 17, which is a fail. It calms for 1 minute. Fern starts petting it. Her hand kind of goes through it, and it feels a bit like water. Imogen talks in its head and tells it they don't want to hurt it. Imogen isn't sure if her feelings are getting across or not. Deanna heals Fern. Frida gets under it and readies a gun to shoot at it once it starts attacking again. Chutney walks to the throne, but doesn't quite make it yet. FCG talks to it with tongues and asks if there is somewhere it wants to go. They will try to help it. It cocks its head at FCG as if it understood them. Fern tries to make it feel safe by petting it and cleaning it. She gathers it doesn't completely help as it's taking everything in, being surrounded by a bunch of people. It lets out a moo, and it says, "I don't know how I got here. I want to go home." Imogen asks where it's from. It says, "The forest." Chutney tries to figure out if that means it's from the Savalier Wood or from a different plane. FCG can banish it, and it'll stay in another plane if it's from there. Deanna reads the plaque, "In memoriam of the fall of Milaesmere," which means it's from the Savalier Wood. Chutney gets to the thrones. Frida tries to calm it and convince it to stop hurting people. It says that they attacked him, so he fought back. Deanna feeds it some trail mix. Fern continues to pet it. Chutney couldn't find anything near the throne. Everyone who is trying to calm the creature rolls a persuasion check or a animal handling check. After the minute, its eyes go back to orange, and it stands up and says, "Show me where out is." The party realize that they can't just walk out of here without informing someone, or it'll just get attacked again. Imogen asks if it was from a different realm. It says that it was from a forest, and it was a sentinel beast. The party asks its name, Umadara. He keeps asking where out is. They start to head toward the gate, and they know they have to convince the people to stay calm. Imogen runs ahead to try to calm people. They tried to get help at the door. She casts calm emotions on them, and they comply to Imogen's plan, and they go back to their homes and stay calm. Imogen and FCG talk through the door to some of the people, hoping that someone is there. Imogen rolls a 29 persuasion to convince the guards to open the gate. The gate slowly starts to open. As the gate opens, there are hundreds of guards and glass blades ready to fight just in case. FCG casts calm emotions. Imogen and FCG tell them they've calmed the beast. One of the guards, an old elf with ornate armor, stands up. He claims that he's calmed by FCG's spell and says he can trust them. The guards don't argue with him. He seems to have a higher station than them. The guards back up. Imogen asks the elf to stay here and not attack it. He says if problems start, they'll have to put it down. Deanna casts Aura of Life on Umadara. Fern puts a ribbon around his neck as a leash. Frida gets ready to defend it. Umadara steps out with a ray of light shining on it and surrounded by the party. The guards are confused and tense. The people who fled look out of their homes and watch as the beast is walked through the city. Imogen casting calm emotions as they go. As they go, they see the royal guard surrounding them. surrounding the king and queen who watch this presentation. The guards have been following the whole time just in case. They walk Umidar out. Some glass blades on the outside are caught off guard, but are quickly calmed. They were ill-informed. Chutney is still in the palace, as it is empty and perfect for looting. The party asks if Umidara wants them to go with them. He says he doesn't sense it. Fern removes the ribbon and puts it around his horn. He turns back and thanks the party and then runs off. Back with Chutney. Chutney is looking at the wooden throne of the two. There is a stone throne and a wooden throne. He carves the symbol of Sepok in it, and then takes the ornaments from it, a couple of emeralds and some other gems. He then pulls up a rug and sees the symbol of the Allfather. In its hand is a hammer that looks like you can grab it. Chutney grabs it and a door opens behind the thrones, the secret exit he was looking for. As it opens, guards come back into the citadel to reclaim it. He cuts himself all over a few times with the scythe and then runs into the door and finds a secret escape for the king and queen. He tries to stealth out, but one of the guards finds him immediately, and he asks for help, faking he's been really severely injured with all of his cuts all over his body. The guard believes it completely and is brought back up to the deliberation disc to be healed. The party watch Umidora leave and think they should check on Chutney. This is where the session ends. The power of friendship won the battle this day, like FCG knew it would. And there you have it, episode 53 of Campaign 3 of Critical Role. Very fun. I enjoyed it. I like learning about Uthodurn quite a bit. A little disappointed we didn't get to see more of the fight. I would have liked to have seen more of the fight happen, and then they were able to calm it and convince it down once it was a little weaker. But, spells are there for a reason. It was really cool that Fern was able to, even with a really high roll from the beast, was still able to have it work, so that's really cool. So yeah, I enjoyed this episode. We got to learn a ton about Uthodurn. I'm a big fan of the whole auger trail and the disc thing that's going on. I'm very intrigued to learn more about it. I could obviously pick up the book and read it, but I like seeing stuff, new information come out in the campaign itself. So yeah, very excited to learn more. Shocked we are still with this group. I would imagine next week we're going to be with the other team wherever they are. So yeah, I'm very intrigued on how they're filming this too. I wonder if they're going to be filming 2 sessions a week and they just chose to upload this group twice in a row. So, I don't know, very intrigued. I'm going to have to look back at their clothing from episode 52 to see if episode 54, if they're with Laudna Ashton and Orem, if they're wearing the same clothing as the opening section. So I'd be very intrigued by that. I really am curious about how they're filming this. Because I don't think... That would suck. You're part of a game and you have to take 3 weeks off because your half of the party's gone. So I don't know. Very, very, very intrigued on how they're doing it. I would love to learn more. I doubt we're going to get the secrets to that. But, it'd be cool. Anyway, see you guys next week for whatever 2 videos I make up. Because next week they are off. So no recap. No safe recap video for me. So yeah. See you guys then. Peace.